Let's talk about Cardcaptor Sakura the Movie, specifically the English dub, because it's one of those anime films that I only ever owned on VHS growing up, and honestly, I still think this version hits harder than the newer dub. Let's talk about it. Let's go back. Welcome to the Bald Archive. I still have the VHS, not in a nostalgic, oh, I used to own that way, I mean physically in a drawer. Slightly cracked case, that old plastic smell, a tape that's probably one play away from turning into spaghetti, and for years I genuinely thought that was the only way this movie existed. No streaming, no DVD, no easy way to rewatch it. If you didn't own it, you might as well have lost media. And maybe that's why this film stuck with me for so long, because I don't remember a DVD release in the UK. I only remember seeing this on the shelves as a VHS at a time when DVD was taking over. It felt like something to hold on to. Before I get all nostalgic and emotional, let me explain what this thing is. Because Cardcaptor Sakura the Movie is kind of weirdly forgotten. It's kind of strange. People either know it exists or they don't. There's no in between. This is the first theatrical film that takes place during the original anime series. Sakura wins a trip to Hong Kong and goes there with her friends and the gang. It starts like a cute holiday episode, tourist stuff, food, shopping, bright summer energy, and then she starts seeing things, a strange bird, empty street, a voice calling her name, and it slowly turns into a ghost story. This movie reveals the spirit of a woman connected to Cloud Reed, the creator of the Cloud Cards, someone who loved him, was abandoned and essentially left behind when he died. She's lonely, angry, and forgotten, and Sakura accidentally wanders into the grief. So instead of a big action movie, it becomes this quiet, melancholic story about helping someone move on, which honestly way sadder than you would expect from a Magical Girls film. So let's talk about the animation. And visually, this movie is beautiful, like unfairly pretty beautiful. The TV show looked great, don't get me wrong, but here you can tell they had time, a little bit more money, not much, but a little, breathing room. The Hong Kong backgrounds aren't just anime backdrops at actual locations. Markets feel crowded, buildings have texture, light reflects off windows, everything feels humid and alive, it feels like summer, it feels real. There are shots when nothing happens for 10 seconds, you're just staring at scenery, and they are genuinely kind of beautiful. It's the kind of care you don't see as often anymore, especially when everything's very CGI or computer-based animation heavy. Now here is where I'm going to commit heresy. I prefer the dub. Yes, the old one, the Americanized one, and honestly, despite the censorship, despite the chopping up of stories, it's the voice acting. That's what I prefer. The voices feel warmer, less Cartoon Network energy, more subdued. There's a softness to these performances that actually matches the film's melancholic tone, which surprised me rewatching it because this isn't a loud movie. It's quiet, it's dreamlike. And it's the kind of dub that accidentally nails it. Meanwhile, I know this is personal taste, the newer Crunchyroll dub of the TV show just doesn't click with me. The voices feel too modern, too sharp, too clean. The older cast feel human, a little awkward, a little imperfect, and that imperfection makes it real. And also, I'm going to be really honest, the Crunchyroll dub suffers from what I like to call, I'm so sorry for how I'm going to say this, weeb doing anime cringe on the internet in 2000s energy. It just drives me a little bit insane. I prefer the more grounded cast of the original dub than I do what's come after. And having watched this with subtitles, I will also say that this is surprisingly close. Despite toning down of certain elements and some minor censorship, this is surprisingly close to the Japanese story. You could tell they can get away with a bit more on cinema screens. Now, this movie is basically a ghost story, which really hit me rewatching it just as an adult. How quiet it is, the long empty streets, the wind, the footsteps, moments with no dialogue. It almost feels closer to a Ghibli film than an expansion of a kids' TV show. It's not about the fights, it's not about spectacle, it's about loneliness, about someone being forgotten, about closure. It's heavy stuff wrapped in soft pastel colours, and the contrast makes it kind of beautiful. The score barely shows up, and that's what makes it work. So much of this movie is just ambient noise, air, distant sounds of the city, that then the slow piano creeps in. It feels haunting. The music is beautiful. Like you're remembering something instead of watching it. It never tries to overwhelm you, it just lets you sit in the mood, which makes everything feel strangely intimate. Okay. I think what really me gets me is how this particular movie is not chasing jokes, it's not chasing hype, it's not trying to be loud, it just exists. It trusts you to sit with it. And maybe that's why I remember it. That's why it's stuck in my head and why I always go back to the VHS in my head. Because back then you didn't scroll, you didn't multitask, you just watched. Cereal bowl, watching this on the TV. This movie feels like it was built for that kind of attention, and now I own it on DVD, and it's probably streaming somewhere. Objectively, I don't need to own the old VHS anymore, but I'm never throwing it away because it's not just a movie. It's proof that I was there, sat too close to the television, rewinding scenes, watching Sakura chase ghosts through Hong Kong at 11 p.m. on a school night. Before everything became disposable, before everything became content, just a tape, a story, and a movie that feels weirdly magical all these years later. And I think that's why I love this dub.